Chapter 316, Divine Wood of Gale and Thunderbolt. The battle between Jian Wushuang and Tan Feng was striking and had attracted the attention of many warriors surrounding the Ninth Heaven Mansion. When those warriors saw Tan Feng lose his life, and watched as his body slowly fell down, they all felt astonished. After the astonishment, loud shouts were heard. Tan Feng actually died? Nan killed Tan Feng. It's a big event, a big event. The numerous surrounding warriors were extremely excited. However, Jian Wushuang appeared very calm. A month ago, in Jian Wushuang's eyes, Tan Feng was so strong that Jian Wushuang was unable to counter him even with his full strength and the soul-devouring secret skill. But a month later, his strength had made major progress. Once his cultivation reached the peak of the Yang Void Realm, Jian Wushuang was no longer weaker than an average Saint Realm expert, regarding the sheer power he could release. The combination of Road to the Underworld, Slaughter Domain, and Sword Sea suppressed Tan Feng and routed his domain. Tan Feng could only display 40% of his strength, but Jian Wushuang was actually strengthened by the power of Road to the Underworld. Tan Feng's loss and Jian Wushuang's gain. In addition, as a first-grade magic weapon, how incredible was the power released by the triple-kill sword. All those resulted in Tan Feng being overpowered by Jian Wushuang, even though his domain was at the second stage, which was a powerful skill that concentrated the power of the whole domain. Tan Feng was overpowered, surrounded by Road to the Underworld with no chance to escape, and then he was killed by Jian Wushuang in the end. After killing Tan Feng, Jian Wushuang discontinued Road to the Underworld. After all, the skill consumed too much spiritual power. After which, he donned the wicked blood-red mask again before appearing beside Tan Feng's body. With only a wave of his hand, Tan Feng's interspatial ring floated toward Jian Wushuang. He skimmed through the contents and smiled. A month ago, he had no choice but to discard all his treasures and his second body, to gain a sliver of a chance to live. But now, after killing Tan Feng, he not only regained his treasures, he also gained plenty of purple crystal spiritual liquid and treasure that Tan Feng spent his whole life collecting. Tan Feng's corpse was also stored in the interspatial ring by Jian Wushuang. After all, it was the corpse of a Saint Realm expert. Tan Feng had already formed a saintly body, so his body would not be rot after he died. Jian Wushuang might have a use for it in the future. After completing those, Jian Wushuang turned around and headed towards the Ninth Heaven Mansion. Whoosh! 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 A mass of experts from the Ninth Heaven Mansion appeared beside Jian Wushuang. One of them, a black-clothed woman at the half-saint level, said, "I am Hei Lin, Mansion Master. We will go to great lengths to do whatever you order." The other experts from the Ninth Heaven Mansion were all kneeling in front of Jian Wushuang. Tan Feng was the Ninth Heaven Mansion Master. Now, Jian Wushuang killed him, so he was the new Ninth Heaven Mansion Master. Those experts from the Ninth Heaven Mansion would follow his commands. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly and waved his hands, gesturing for them to disperse. Then he entered into a secret chamber in the Ninth Heaven Mansion alone, and Hei Lin stood guard outside respectfully. In the secret chamber, Jian Wushuang sat with legs crossed. A black long spear and a manual appeared in his hands. He got Tan Feng's interspatial ring, which contained many treasures, including cultivation methods, manuals, and elixirs. Several of the treasures were so valuable that Saint Realm experts would be willing to battle for them. But Jian Wushuang did not care for those treasures. What he valued were the two things in his hands. This black long spear was a superior third-grade magic weapon with great power. As for the manual, it was a superior second-grade manual. Those two things should be the reward from Holy Emperor Palace that Tan Feng received for handing over my second body. Jian Wushuang smiled secretly. Not only Tan Feng, even the Holy Emperor Palace believed he had been killed. But he was still alive. Now, the two treasures had become his for such a cheap price. Though the long spear is powerful, it's useless to me, so I will swap it for other treasures. Jian Wushuang looked at the black long spear. After waving his hands, Jian Wushuang placed the spear into his interspatial ring. Then, Jian Wushuang looked at the manual. Wrath of Gale and Thunderbolt? Jian Wushuang was startled. It was a superior second-grade manual, which was appealing enough to make many experts of the Saint Realm crazy in the Nanyang continent. Then Jian Wushuang began to flip through the manual. 1 hour later, he had an astonished expression after closing the manual. The manual contained a body skill called Wrath of Gale and Thunderbolt. When it was used, the force of Gale and Thunderbolt were combined, and its speed was like lightning. The lightning Tan Feng displayed should be from the manual. Jian Wushuang secretly thought. The speed of the Thunderlight Tan Feng formed when escaping was so fast that it surprised Jian Wushuang. Most importantly, when Tan Feng was being suppressed by the blood river formed from road to the underworld, his speed could only reach 30% at most. However, the speed of the Thunderlight form was still astonishing. If the skill was used while not being restricted, how fast would it be? The manual is really nice, but I don't quite meet the requirements. Jian Wushuang frowned. After carefully reading through it, he understood that Wrath of Gale and Thunderbolt was most suitable for experts who comprehended Gale origin or Thunderbolt origin. If not satiate one of them, it was hard to master the manual unless the assistance of Divine Wood of Gale and Thunderbolt. Jian Wushuang had comprehended both World Origin and Slaughter Origin, with World Origin including everything between heaven and earth. However, it was not the same as comprehending Gale Origin and Thunderbolt Origin. If I want to cultivate this skill, I will have to get a Divine Wood of Gale and Thunderbolt. Jian Wushuang secretly thought. Divine Wood of Gale and Thunderbolt was a really rare natural treasure that was highly valued. Divine Wood of Gale and Thunderbolt was the only treasure that could help an expert who comprehended other origins learn Wrath of Gale and Thunderbolt. Hey Lin, Jian Wushuang said, spreading his voice over the area. Hey Lin stopped guarding outside and came into the secret chamber. She said respectfully, Master, what can I do for you? Did Tan Feng order you to search for information regarding Divine Wood of Gale and Thunderbolt? Jian Wushuang asked. Divine Wood of Gale and Thunderbolt? Hey Lin nodded slightly and said, a half-month ago, Tan Feng asked us to find some Divine Wood of Gale and Thunderbolt. Have you uncovered anything? Jian Wushuang asked again. Yes. Hey Lin replied, it said that the Lord of Deqian Prefecture found a Divine Wood of Gale and Thunderbolt many years ago. After hearing that, Tan Feng met the Lord of Deqian Prefecture and attempted to trade for it. But something went wrong and Tan Feng failed to get it. He was even thrown out by the Lord of Deqian Prefecture. Chapter 317. Xianxia, is it you? Kicked out? Jian Wushuang was startled. 21 large prefectures, 21 mansion masters with great strength. As for the Lord of Deqian Prefecture, Jian Wushuang knew he was indeed a super expert who ranked third on the Blood Moon list. Even though Tan Feng had mastered a second stage domain, he only ranked 9th on the Blood Moon list. So, the Lord of Deqian Prefecture, who ranked third, was definitely much stronger. Jian Wushuang deduced that the Lord of Deqian Prefecture was likely to have reached the pinnacle of the origin he comprehended. As long as I'm alive, Holy Emperor Palace will spare no effort to kill me. Although I am quite powerful, I'm still not strong enough to protect myself. But the Wrath of Gale and Thunder is of great use, so I want to learn it. Jian Wushuang looked dignified. It seems that I must visit the Lord of Deqian Prefecture in person. Are you going to visit the Lord of Deqian Prefecture? Hey Lin asked in a surprise. Can't I? Jian Wushuang asked indifferently. It's nothing. But it is said that the Lord of Deqian Prefecture has an odd temper. Be careful when you meet him, Mansion Master, Hey Lin said. An odd temper? Jian Wushuang smiled slightly, showing that he did not care. The next day, Jian Wushuang left for Deqian Prefecture. Deqian Prefecture was one of the 21 large prefectures, but it had an extremely high status among them. The Lord of Deqian Prefecture was recognized as a super expert who ranked top 3 in the whole Tang dynasty, which caused other experts to revere him. Dressed in a bloody robe and wearing a wicked bloody mask, Jian Wushuang appeared in the air above the Deqian Prefecture. Stop! Several shadows appeared in succession above the Deqian Prefecture, headed by a young man with bloody hair. Would you please tell your lord that Nan has come to visit him? Said Jian Wushuang. Nan? The one ranked 9th on the Blood Moon list, who killed Tan Feng and took his place as the 9th Heaven Mansion. The young man with bloody hair was shocked. News that Jian Wushuang killed Tan Feng and became the new 9th Heaven Mansion Master had already spread throughout the Tang dynasty. His new rank was updated on the Blood Moon list. So it was only natural that the guards in the Deqian prefecture knew about it. Please wait a moment, sir. I will inform the mansion master right away. The young man with bloody hair slightly saluted him and went to deliver the message. A few moments later, "Sire, come in and have a talk." A vigorous and forceful voice was heard coming from the mission. Jian Wushuang smiled and strode forward without any hindrance from the guards. Jian Wushuang quickly made his way to the meeting hall. In the main position of the hall, a white-haired elder stood calmly with his arms folded. He stood there like a sculpture, motionless and with no breath. A light flashed through Jian Wushuang's eyes as soon as he entered the hall and saw the back of this white-haired elder. It reminded him of someone he had seen before. At that moment, the sculpture-like white-haired elder began to move and turned around. Once Jian Wushuang was able to see the real appearance of the white-haired elder, his eyes suddenly widened in astonishment. "Senior, is it you?" Jian Wushuang asked with a hint of surprise. "Senior." The white-haired elder stroked his white beard while smiling, then said, "Have you met me before?" Jian Wushuang smiled and said nothing. After remembering that he was wearing the wicked bloody mask, Jian Wushuang took the mask off and revealed his own appearance. Junior Jian Wushuang greets Senior Wine Master. Jian Wushuang saluted solemnly. "Wine Master." The elder in front of Jian Wushuang was the Lord of Deqian Prefecture who ranked top 3 in the Tang dynasty. Jian Wushuang had only seen him once, when the elder took Yang Zixuan as his personal disciple. Wine Master left a deep impression on Jian Wushuang, not only because he was the first expert of the Saint Realm that Jian Wushuang met, but also because he was the master of Yang Zixuan. What he didn't expect was that Wine Master was the Lord of Deqian Prefecture. "Oh." Wine Master looked at Jian Wushuang and instantly remembered Jian Wushuang once he heard his name. "Jian Wushuang? Nan." Wine Master smiled and said, "Several days ago, I heard that Tan Feng was killed. I was curious about who did it, but I never thought it was you. The first time I met you, you were merely a young guy in the Gold Core realm. You have made great progress in such a short time. Compared to you, that disciple of mine is far behind. You flatter me, Senior." Jian Wushuang was very modesty and asked, "Where is Yang Zixuan?" There was a hint of expectation deep in Jian Wushuang's heart. Jian Wushuang hadn't seen Yang Zixuan for a long time. Previously, in the easternmost hunt, Yang Zixuan's arm was chopped off. Jian Wushuang wondered whether he had taken the purple fire body-shaping elixir and recovered. A few days ago, he was bitterly defeated by someone. After recovering from his injury, he immediately went into seclusion. He might finish it in several days, Wine Master answered. Yang Zixuan was defeated by someone? Who was it? Jian Wushuang asked with curiosity. "Ha, the one that defeated him was the same Tan Feng who you just killed," Wine Master laughed. "What?" Jian Wushuang was really surprised. Yang Zixuan had a competition with Tan Feng? "Senior Wine Master, what the hell is going on?" Jian Wushuang immediately asked. "Some time ago, that Ninth Heaven Mansion Master, Tan Feng, came here to meet me and wanted to trade for the Divine Wood of Gale and Thunderbolt, but I refused." Jian Wushuang listened to him seriously. "The reason I refused was not that I was reluctant to part with the Divine Wood of Gale and Thunderbolt, nor was his treasure not valuable enough. On the contrary, he was sincere enough to bring very valuable treasures. They were definitely worth exchanging for a piece of Divine Wood of Gale and Thunderbolt. In truth, it was my disciple, or to be precise, you, that caused me to refuse," said Wine Master. "Because of me?" Jian Wushuang was shocked. The news that the Holy Emperor Palace offered a reward for your arrest was spread throughout the whole Nanyang continent. I couldn't possibly don't know about it. However, 1 month ago, I heard that Tan Feng killed you and he got the reward from the Holy Emperor Palace. Wine Master looked over at Jian Wushuang. "My disciple is close to you. When he heard Tan Feng was here, he immediately tried to take revenge. It was a pity though, he was not strong enough and was defeated by Tan Feng. Because of my disciple, I naturally can't give the Divine Wood of Gale and Thunderbolt to Tan Feng, so I kicked him out." "That's it?" Jian Wushuang asked while smiling faintly. He had heard from He Lin that Tan Feng failed to exchange for the Divine Wood of Gale and Thunderbolt in the Deqian Prefecture, and was kicked out by the Lord of Deqian Prefecture. At first, he was very curious why. But now, he realized that he himself was the reason. And my disciple suffered a lot after being defeated by Tan Feng, so he immediately entered seclusion. But I arranged it for him. Not surprisingly, after he finishes his seclusion, he will barely be able to contend with Tan Feng, Wine Master said confidently. Chapter 318, Wrath of Gale and Thunderbolt. He'll barely be able to contend with Tan Feng? Jian Wushuang felt both surprised and frightened. They had been apart for no more than 2 years. During this period, Jian Wushuang made great progress in such a short time because of the heavenly creation skill and opportunities from the ancestors' land and nature residence. But Yang Zixuan had also made frightful progress. Truly worthy of being my second brother. Jian Wushuang laughed, feeling proud of Yang Zixuan. Yang Zixuan was inherently a peerless genius with an impassive character and an indomitable spirit. Previously, in the Qianzong dynasty, which was just a weak and small dynasty, he had cultivated by himself with very little guidance. Thus, his talent could not be completely revealed. It was not until he acknowledged Wine Master as his master that his true potential talent had been realized. So, why are you here today? Wine Master asked as he sat down on the chair, smiling and looking at Jian Wushuang. Senior Wine Master, why I am here today is for the same reason Tan Feng came that day. I want the divine wood of Gale and Thunderbolt, Jian Wushuang said directly. Wine Master nodded slightly and was not surprised. Tan Feng got the wrath of Gale and Thunderbolt, so he needed the divine wood of Gale and Thunderbolt to assist him in cultivating it. Now, you have killed Tan Feng and his wrath of Gale and Thunderbolt belongs to you. It seems that you are quite interested in that superior second-grade manual. Jian Wushuang smiled faintly and said, I sincerely hope Senior can help me. It's just a piece of divine wood of Gale and Thunderbolt. It is not of great use to me. If not for my disciple, I would have exchanged it with Tan Feng when he brought those treasures here. Wine Master smiled and said, you can have it. Thanks a lot, Jian Wushuang said with surprise. I will also give you plenty of treasures. Wine Master frowned, then he suddenly lowered his voice and said, yesterday I was informed that the alchemy school has something urgent to consult with me and my disciple about. In a few days, alchemy school experts will pay a visit here. It is normal for them to consult me. After all, their master and I are good friends. I have turned to the alchemy school for help several times and I owe the alchemy school. It is natural for the alchemy school to ask me for help when something inconvenient happens. But it also involves my disciple, which is interesting. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang could not help smiling. The alchemy school had a good relationship with Wine Master, but not with Yang Zixuan. But now something out of the ordinary was happening, so there was only one answer. This implied that Wang Yuan was involved in it and he was coming here with alchemy school experts in several days. Wang Yuan has something urgent to speak about with Yang Zixuan? Jian Wushuang asked while touching his nose. Young guy, stay at the Deqian Prefecture for a few days. My disciple will finish his seclusion in 2 days, Wine Master said. It would be my pleasure, Jian Wushuang said and nodded seriously. That day, Wine Master gave the divine wood of Gale and Thunderbolt to Jian Wushuang in exchange for some treasures. It would be much easier to cultivate wrath of Gale and Thunderbolt with the assistance of the divine wood of Gale and Thunderbolt. Jian Wushuang also had found a secret chamber to begin his comprehension. 3 days later, in the center of a huge martial arts practice field of the Deqian Prefecture, Jian Wushuang calmly stood, surrounded by a heavy force of Gale and Thunderbolt, as well as a vague cracking sound. A hint of sharp light was shining in Jian Wushuang's eyes as he suddenly moved. Shua! A flash of lightning flashed and appeared at the end of the martial arts practice field. But, in the very next moment, it came back to its original position. There was a 1,000-meter distance between the starting point and the ending point, but the lightning finished its journey there and back within the blink of an eye. How fast! It's so fast! Jian Wushuang was very excited. The wrath of Gale and Thunderbolt was worthy of being a superior second-grade manual. It was very powerful. Although Jian Wushuang only had an initial mastery of it, his speed after transforming into the lightning was 3-fold faster than his normal peak speed. 3-fold. That was a huge gap. Because of this, Jian Wushuang realized that Tan Feng hadn't mastered the Wrath of Gale and Thunderbolt previously. If he had, he would have been much faster. Even with the suppression from road to the underworld, Jian Wushuang might not have been able to kill him. Wrath of Gale and Thunderbolt is a body skill. The greatest advantage is not the instantaneous speed but the flexibility of movement. Jian Wushuang looked up and released the force of Gale and Thunderbolt again. Whoosh! 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 A lightning flashed in quick succession and changed directions several times. For a moment, weird shadows clothed in lightning appeared on the martial arts practice field. All of them were residual shadows caused by Jian Wushuang's speed. In an instant, hundreds of residual shadows appeared on the martial arts practice field. Those residual shadows were all the same, making it impossible to figure out where Jian Wushuang was. Boom! A thick cloud of thunderbolt landed on the ground of the martial arts practice field, immediately causing the ground to crack. Jian Wushuang finally appeared from inside the lightning. Wonderful! The feeling is wonderful. Jian Wushuang clenched his hands. It really was quite wonderful. When a person zoomed through an area and made a sudden pause or changed their direction, their speed would normally slow down a little. But, by using the Wrath of Gale and Thunderbolt, he would not suffer any obstructions. His movements were as smooth as a fish swimming in water. Instant speed. Instant change of direction. Instant deceleration. No obstructions. Everything was smooth. If, in the future, I meet an expert who is stronger than me, and I can't defeat them, at least I will be able to flee or fight with him using the speed from the Wrath of Gale and Thunderbolt. Jian Wushuang felt secretly happy. At that exact moment, boom! An aura abruptly surged toward the sky from inside the Deqian prefecture. The aura possessed a force that seemed to look down on everything and contain an overwhelming pressure. It seemed that the owner of this aura was an immortal king who could impose his will on everything. That's... Jian Wushuang immediately looked towards the source of that terrifying aura. What an imposing aura! Jian Wushuang thought while gazing. Imposing? Generally speaking, only those with a high status, like the monarch of a dynasty, some sect masters, or some powerful leaders, would naturally have such an imposing pressure. But this pressure didn't usually come from someone's aura. Now, this rising aura possessed an overwhelming pressure. It was really amazing. Is Xianxia about to exit his seclusion? Jian Wushuang was looking forward to it. Chapter 319, The Reunion of Brothers. The dreadful blast of wind ceased slowly soon after it erupted. A secret chamber's gate of Deqian Prefecture was opened abruptly, and a cold-faced young man who wore a blood-red saber on his back walked out slowly. Just after he walked out, he saw Jian Wushuang standing in front of him at the martial arts practice field, staring at him. "Second brother, it's been a long time since I saw you. Your arm has recovered." Jian Wushuang scratched his nose, and couldn't help but smile after seeing the repaired left arm of Xianxia. Third brother, meeting Jian Wushuang, Xianxia was surprised at first but soon turned indifferent again. "I thought you were killed by Tan Feng. A warrior like Tan Feng could never kill me," Jian Wushuang said. "So confident, huh?" Xianxia looked at Jian Wushuang. "I suppose your strength has improved a lot in the last 2 years? Why not give it a try?" Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows. The two brothers looked at each other and smiled. Strangely, Xianxia's figure disappeared from right where he stood, and when he appeared again, he was already right in front of Jian Wushuang. Meanwhile, the blood-red saber on his back chopped out silently, stirring up heaven and earth the moment it flew. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly, and soon the purple sky sword appeared in his hand, sweeping out a blast of sword light which also moved the entire heaven and earth. Clang! The saber and the sword clashed at each other, and instantly caused 2 huge cracks on the center ground of the martial arts practice field, both of which were over 100 meters long. And then, SHUA! 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 The figures of the two brothers flashed in the void simultaneously, along with the deafening sound of clashes. In the Deqian Prefecture, Wine Master sat decorously in an attic, cooking wine. The wine jug and bowl were trembling slightly along with the loud sounds of clashes out there. "Are the two boys trying to tear down my Deqian Prefecture?" Wine Master took a glimpse at the void outside, shaking his head and smiling, and then continued to cook his wine. About an hour later, the huge sound of collisions that rang over the whole Deqian prefecture and the two crazy powers that clashed against each other gradually subsided. In the martial arts practice field, Jian Wushuang and Yang Zixuan sat there at ease. Your strength developed a lot after near 2 years. Wine Master said you can almost defeat Tan Feng after you finished your cultivation. I didn't believe this at first, but now I think you do have the strength. Jian Wushuang smiled and said. So do you. Yang Zixuan looked over to Jian Wushuang. If I'm not wrong, you would have still hidden much of your real strength. Ha ha, you would not have used your full strength as well, Jian Wushuang said. The two men lay there at ease, talking and commenting on each other's strength. The battle that happened just now was only a simple spar after their reunion, so both of them held back their strength. Especially for Jian Wushuang, because he hadn't even demonstrated his domain. Let's go and have a drink, Yang Zixuan said. Don't hurry. Big brother Wang Yuan will be here in a few days. We can drink together when he arrives, Jian Wushuang said. All right. Yang Zixuan nodded. They too waited for Wang Yuan at the Deqian prefecture. During this period, they still challenged each other frequently. Although they reserved their strength, every battle they fought still caused a great commotion and scars on the ground. Yang Zixuan also heard from Wine Master that Jian Wushuang killed Tan Feng, and knew that right now Jian Wushuang's strength should be more powerful than his. He fought with Tan Feng before, so he knew that even now he could barely compete with Tan Feng using his full strength. However, Jian Wushuang could kill Tan Feng, so Jian Wushuang's battle strength must be superior to his. Jian Wushuang also had a general understanding of Yang Zixuan's strength. A predestined warrior. That was Jian Wushuang's commentary to Yang Zixuan. With real strength reserved, Yang Zixuan's battle strength was at best equal to a normal expert of the Saint Realm, but once he used his full energy to demonstrate high heaven technique, his strength would rise up to a brand new level with the heaven breath's blessing, and surely could confront with those experts that mastered the second domain like Tan Feng. 2 days later, when Jian Wushuang and Yang Zixuan were exchanging their thoughts and experiences on the martial arts practice field, a huge figure stepped across the courtyard and ran in. Just after entering the martial arts practice field, his hearty laughter sounded out. Ha ha, second brother, third brother, it's been a long time since I saw you. I missed you guys so much. Wang Yuan rushed to Jian Wushuang and Yang Zixuan. Big brother, Jian Wushuang and Yang Zixuan stood up, with a hint of smile on their faces. Wang Yuan ran over to them, and gave both Yang Zixuan and Jian Wushuang a big hug. Second brother, how does your repaired arm feel? Wang Yuan looked at Yang Zixuan and asked. Not bad. Yang Zixuan moved his left arm. His left arm had been cut off. Later Wine Master obtained a purple fire body shaping elixir from alchemy school and repaired his arm with it. The repaired arm was almost the exact same as the original one. Third brother, Wang Yuan looked over to Jian Wushuang. 1 month ago, I heard that you were killed by a man named Tan Feng, and he took your body to the Holy Emperor Palace for a reward. I didn't believe it at that time. I would never believe that you would die so easily. Looks like I'm right. Ha, it was just a cover, Jian Wushuang smiled. Tan Feng has already been killed by me. Oh. Wang Yuan's expression changed. I heard that Tan Feng was an expert of the Saint Realm with great strength, and even mastered domain. You could kill him, my brother? Gee, that's awesome. Jian Wushuang shrugged casually. Well, we can hardly get together, so we must have a drink today. I was going to drink with third brother before, but he said we need to wait for you to drink together. Yang Zixuan said. I'm afraid we don't have time to drink. Wang Yuan shook his head, and his face stiffened. The reason why I came here today is to discuss something really urgent with you and Wine Master. It is better since third brother is also here. What is the matter? Jian Wushuang and Yang Zixuan looked at Wang Yuan immediately. It is about little sister, Wang Yuan said with a low voice. Little sister. Jian Wushuang's eyes turned cold immediately. When he was still in Qianzong dynasty, Jian Wushuang had heard from Wang Yuan that Su Ru was in a very special position in Ice Nether Valley. The master behind her might do something harmful to her. Jian Wushuang was very concerned about it. But at that time his strength was too weak and he was not certain whether master would be against little sister, so he could do nothing but let Wang Yuan take care of Su Ru. Now, since Wang Yuan came to them for Su Ru, something must have happened to her. Not long ago, Yi Chen, the master of Ice Nether Valley, sent invitations to all the powerful forces in Nanyang continent. 10 days later, he and little sister will hold their wedding ceremony in Ice Nether Valley. Chapter 320. Destroy. Kill. Eliminate. What? Wedding? Jian Wushuang and Yang Zixuan were both startled. This is the invitation card that Yi Chen sent to all the sects. You can have a look. Wang Yuan took out an invitation card. Jian Wushuang and Yang Zixuan gave it a quick browse. Sure enough, it was an invitation for the experts of all the clans to attend the wedding ceremony in 10 days. Little sister is marrying Yi Chen? Is she doing this willingly? Jian Wushuang asked. I suppose she is. Wang Yuan nodded. You guys may not know yet, but little sister is an orphan. Her clan was massacred when she was very little, and she was taken by the enemy. The Yi Chen happened to pass by and rescued her, and even avenged her by eliminating the people that killed her family. Ever since then, little sister has been with Yi Chen. Before she met us, she considered Yi Chen as her only family, and no one could take his place from little sister. So if Yi Chen said that he wanted to marry her, she would probably not reject him. Jian Wushuang and Yang Zixuan both frowned. Since little sister was willing to perform the wedding without being threatened, they could not do anything other than send their blessings. If that's all, I wouldn't say anything, as long as he treats little sister well with all his heart. However, I found out something strange not long ago, Wang Yuan said solemnly. Something strange? What is it? Jian Wushuang asked. I performed some investigations and found out that the force that destroyed little sister's whole clan had been in contact with Ice Nether Valley previously, Wang Yuan said. What? Jian Wushuang and Yang Zixuan looked at Wang Yuan immediately. I looked into it and found out that Blissful Island, the power that eliminated little sister's clan, had been in close contact with Ice Nether Valley, and both little sister's clan and Blissful Island were in a middle-sized empire. Why would a person with such a prominent status like Yi Chen go there for no reason and happen to rescue little sister? Wang Yuan narrated. I felt that this was strange at that time, and so I asked my people to investigate it. I finally received some information a few days ago. What is it? Jian Wushuang said in a low voice. The result is, Blissful Island was an affiliated power with Ice Nether Valley. It was Ice Nether Valley that ordered Blissful Island to eliminate little sister's clan, and the one who gave the order was probably Master Yi Chen. Wang Yuan said. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang and Yang Zixuan were both astonished. Is this true? Jian Wushuang's eyes turned cold immediately. I confirmed it over and over, and it was really an order given by Ice Nether Valley, Wang Yuan said. As far as I know, our little sister has a very special body attribute and can achieve great things. Yi Chen may be interested in this, so he asked Blissful Island to slaughter little sister's family and saved little sister, himself. He also performed revenge for her to make her deeply grateful to him so that she would obey anything he said. What a good strategy! And what it cost him was not much, just Blissful Island, a little force. Jian Wushuang's and Yang Zixuan's eyes turned cold in an instant. Brother Yuan, do you have any evidence of this? Jian Wushuang asked. Of course I have the evidence. Wang Yuan smiled coldly, and then he waved his hand to reveal a stack of information reports gathered by Alchemy School. Jian Wushuang and Yang Zixuan looked through these reports, and Jian Wushuang's face became sullen instantly. There was indeed actual evidence. It was confirmed that Ice Nether Valley gave the order to eliminate little sister's clan, and that Yi Chen was definitely involved with it. Finding out this matter is the reason why I called and informed you, Wang Yuan said. Little sister doesn't know this, does she? Jian Wushuang asked coldly. Of course she doesn't. How could she want to marry Yi Chen if she knew this? Wang Yuan said. Third brother, what are you going to do? Wang Yuan looked over to Jian Wushuang. What am I going to do? It's simple, I will stop the wedding and kill Yi Chen. If Ice Nether Valley stands in my way, I will eliminate it too. Jian Wushuang's voice was frozen with a frightening coldness in his eyes. Besides his father Jian Nantian, Jian Wushuang cared for his brothers and sister most in this world. Jian Wushuang regarded his little sister Su Ru as his biological sister, so how could him let her be bullied like this? I'm also going to follow you, Yang Zixuan nodded, also with great coldness in his eyes. He, we think the same. We brothers must cause chaos on the wedding 10 days later for little sister. Wang Yuan smiled, and stretched out his fist. Jian Wushuang and Yang Zixuan looked at each other, and then also put forward their fists. The 3 fists bumped together. In an attic in Diqian Prefecture. You are planning to destroy the wedding in Ice Nether Valley in 10 days? And you want my help? Wine Master raised his eyebrows, and looked over at Jian Wushuang and his brothers. Yes, we really hope you can give us a hand, Master. Yang Zixuan said solemnly. Wang Yuan and Jian Wushuang also looked at Wine Master with expectation. After all, Ice Nether Valley was one of the 3 valleys in Nanyang continent, which was even more powerful than Wilderness Sword Sect and Deluo Heaven Sect. Only Alchemy School and Holy Emperor Palace could possibly defeat it in the whole Nanyang continent. So it was impossible to cause trouble at the sect with merely Jian Wushuang and Yang Zixuan. And Wang Yuan. Although Wang Yuan was the young master of the Alchemy School, there were too many restrictions in Alchemy School, so he couldn't bring many experts. Therefore, they could only use their own influence to invite some experts, and the first person they invited was Wine Master. Holding a pot of wine and swirling it slowly, the Wine Master murmured, Ice Nether Valley, one of the 3 valleys, and the strongest of them, is not easy to be messed. But it will really be interesting if we can stop the wedding and humiliate them. So you agree to help us? Wang Yuan quickly asked. Wine Master smiled slightly, but looked over to Yang Zixuan. My disciple has never asked anything from me since he called me master, so how can I say no? However, Ice Nether Valley has great strength, so only counting on us to create chaos at the wedding is not enough. We have to find other people for help. No sooner had Wine Master finished his words. Whoosh, whoosh. 2 figures suddenly appeared in the attic. One of the 2 figures was a strong and handsome middle-aged man, and the other was a woman with a natural and graceful appearance. Wind and Rain Immortals. Looking at the 2 people who appeared in the attic, a slight smile emerged on Wine Master's face. Wine Master, the middle-aged man and the graceful woman said,